Hello again viewers, welcome back to the card mat. I'm going to show you a nice little trick now. It's a little triumph trick. And to start with, I need you to pick a card. Any card you like. Say you want that one there. Okay. So you picked the King of Spades. And we just get the King of Spades and we just lose it into the middle of the pack. And I'll just give the pack a couple of little cuts. And give it a shuffle, why not? Right, now what I'm going to do is mix the pack up. I'm going to take a couple of cards this way and a couple of cards that way and a couple of cards this way and a couple of cards that way. So I'm getting the pack all mixed up and cards are going this way and that way and that way and this way. All really confusing. And we just keep going and go all the way through like that. Right, now as you can see I've got some of the cards facing up. I've got some of the cards facing down. And in the middle I've got some of the cards facing back to back. But all I've got to do is just give a click over the top and we'll see that all the cards straighten themselves out except for one, which just happens to be your King of Hearts, Spades even. I hope you enjoyed that. You want to know how it's done? Don't go anywhere. Right, so you hung around. You want to know how it's done? Well, it's called a Slop Triumph, and it's probably the easiest triumph trick there is. Triumph trick basically means that you end up with one card in the deck facing in the opposite direction to the others after mixing them up, face up and face down. So you mix it face up and face down cards together, and by the time you finish, you end up with the pack all the same way. As I say, except for one card in the middle. And this is about the easiest one there is to do. You start off, you let your spectator pick any card they want, and it's a completely free choice. They can pick whatever card they want. You pick the Nine of Spades. Now what you need to do is control the Nine of Spades to the bottom. The way I done it in the performance was get it to the top first and then overhand shuffle it to the bottom. There's loads of different ways of manoeuvring cards around the pack. I'm going to show you one of the easiest ways to do this. Basically, you're putting the card in and you push it in on a bit of an angle, so a little corner sticks out this side, and you just pull down on it with your little finger, causing a pinky break just there. So right underneath my pinky break is your Nine of Spades. Once I've done that, got the pinky break, all I do is cut half of the pack above the pinky break and put them on the table. Cut them then at the break, which then puts your 9 on the top, which you just drop onto the top. And that's controlled your card right to the top, or their card right to the top. Now you just do an overhand shuffle, moving the top card to the bottom. I have got a tutorial out for this already. All you're doing is just pulling the top card off, and then you shuffle everything on top of it. And all you've done is control their card right down to the bottom. When it's down there, you do the slop shuffle, or some people call it the drunk shuffle. And all you're doing is pushing off a couple of cards, turning your hand over, pushing another couple of cards off that way, turning your hand over, pushing some that way, and some that way. And if I stop here, and I'll just show you exactly what's happened. Nothing really. I just got a stack of cards facing up on the top and a stack of cards facing down on the bottom. So again, take a couple of cards to make it more, well, you can't really do it because you've got their card on the bottom. If you had their card anywhere else but the bottom, you'd also turn that hand over and this hand over. So it looks like the cards are getting all mixed up. Just a couple of cards at a time, this way and that way. Until you get right down to the very last card. And then the very last card, which is their one, you put face down onto the top. So to show you, I've got their card face down on the top. Then I've got a big stack of cards all facing up. and then a stack of cards all facing down underneath it. So the pack's basically split in half. Half facing down, half facing up, with their card on the top. Then you just show them that the cards are mixed up, and you just break a small portion off the top and say I've got some facing up. Then you cut right down there to the bottom, so you're cutting into the bottom half of the deck to show some are facing down. And then you need to cut right at the break there, so you're cutting the one card which is actually back to back. Now before you start the trick, I should have said this, if you bevel your cards a bit like that and put a little bend in them, it then makes a break for you. Because, oh, I'll have to show you that properly, won't I? If I bend them slightly that way, no, that way, and bend them ones slightly that way, when you put it together, you can see that there's just a little break in the middle. It's called a natural break. And anytime you pick up at that break, you'll always pick up where you need to. So you got your little break, and all you do is just cut the pack right at that break and turn the top packet over to show that you got cards with your back to back. Then when you're putting them together, all you're doing is putting that one straight onto the top that way. So all I've done is picked it up from there, turned it over and put it on the top. So I've gone and straightened all the cards out, except for theirs in the middle. When you get to that point, you just flip the packet over so they're facing up. And if you can do, you do a ribbon spread, just spreading the cards out across the table so they can see them all facing in the same direction, except for the one card. If you're not comfortable doing that, you can always just spread the cards out between your hands. If you need to, stick them down. Put the face down one to one side. It's just to show that all the cards are actually facing in the same direction. So whichever way you want to show them, you can use. Now say in the middle of them you find the one face down card, which when you spread it out, you just pull it straight out and you can show them that it's their card. I say I will do a tutorial for other ways of controlling a selected card that's going into the middle. There are loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and loads and even more than that ways of doing it. I'll show you some of the main ones, some basic through to advanced, on how to control a chosen card from the middle to either the top or the bottom, second to top, second to bottom. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you can go out and do it and perform it, and I'll see you later.